Okay, I have here a Vitamix and a Blendtec. Going to show just the bodies of them real quick. Take the containers off of each one. You can see that on the Vitamix both the base and the container are both taller than the base and container of the Blendtec. The Vitamix comes with this tamper, and then the Blendtec comes with this spoonula, which is good for scooping stuff out of it. On the Vitamix, it has this nifty little way to wrap up the cord down here. I'll go ahead and take that out. These are just like little flexible tabs. This has a pretty long cord. I haven't measured it myself, but it says that it is 6 feet long on the specifications. The Blendtec has what is supposed to be a 3-foot cord, and it has, can't go on the base, but it has this nice little Velcro thing to help kind of keep it under control when it's sitting on a counter, and you don't want a bunch of cord sticking everywhere. So we'll go ahead and undo that. Okay, on the containers, this is the main container for the Vitamix. It has a lid that latches on 2 sides. It just hooks over this lip on the container here, and then it has a lid that you can twist like a quarter turn to remove it, otherwise it's locked on there. See that? The markings on the Vitamix container are raised, but there's no color. They're just clear etched numbers. It goes up to, this is 8 cups here, and this right here is the max fill line. On the Blendtec, the lid just pops off, and then this also just kind of pops out. It has these on here that kind of help it to stay in. So we'll push that back on. Oops. Helps to line it up. Okay, now on the Blendtec container, the markings are they're easier to see right offhand because they're in black, but I've had some experience with some other items that have this kind of painted markings. This stuff, if it's scrubbed, can come off over time, I'm sure. So while it's easier to see than the Vitamix markings, you can't take bumps off of here. They're always going to be there. So that's something, I'm not sure yet which of those I prefer. The handles are, this just has the plastic handle. This has more of a ergonomic black handle here. Okay, actually let's take the lids back off of both of those. If you look inside the Blendtec, one of the reasons I am leaning towards keeping this one is because I already washed them. They say you can wash them by just putting in some soap and warm water before you use them the first time, but I went ahead and washed them by hand. Not only because I'm just more comfortable with, you know, I don't know what's been in the factory or whatever, but also because I wanted to see how easy it was to clean. So this one has 2 blades, and these are actually, the Blendtec can go faster than the Vitamix in revolutions per minute, but the blades are dull. I can sit here and touch these, and these are not going to hurt me. If I wanted to get a sponge in here, I mean, I could just go all around easily, very, very easily. It has a wider base, like a square base. This here is the wild side container, which is where it has this extra corner cut out, and what that is supposed to do is something about that makes the vortex just kind of function a little better, where it doesn't have a lot of cavitation issues down in the bottom. Oh, another thing I want to show you. this is something I was curious about because I had heard of some people using the Blendtec containers on a Vitamix base. And maybe that was possible before, or I'm not sure, but you can see that the, we'll call it a doohickey, I don't know what they're called, but this right here on a Blendtec is a little longer, and it's definitely narrower than what's on a Vitamix. So say if I tried to stick this Blendtec onto, if I took off this rubber thing here, and if I tried to stick this on here, first of all, it won't go over these plastic things here. But say I tried to put the Vitamix container on a Blendtec, also won't work. It's too big to go in there. So they have differently shaped bases. Put that back on there. The Blendtec has a smaller capacity, and they say that you should only fill it up to a certain amount. Maybe it's this 36-ounce line. There is a larger wild side container, but I bought this package at Sam's, and it came with this one where the markings go up to 38. I've seen larger ones, I think, where the markings go up to 48. But with a Blendtec, it has a flat lid here, so you're only supposed to fill it a certain amount so that then it has room to really blend. Now with the Vitamix, it has a domed lid, and so they say you can fill this sucker all the way up here, and the room it needs to blend is contained within this dome here. So you can see the difference in height here. I'll grab a tape measure. Specifications say that a Vitamix is 20.5 inches tall. Mine looks more like 20 1/4, but still close enough. And if you look at the Blendtec, that only comes up to about 15 1/4 total. Now I have really short cabinets, so neither one of these is going to fit under my cabinet anyway. But even without fitting under the cabinet, this one to me just looks a lot better. And that's not just because of its height, but because of its, I don't know. I'm not sure yet how I'm going to feel about having programs versus fully manual operation. I could see where there could be some advantages here, but if you want to manually control this, it does have speed up, speed down, and pulse buttons as well. But to me, I find this Vitamix design hideous. I don't know why in the world they don't try to improve it, because it could look so much better than that. And to me, this looks very nice. One of Blendtec's advantages that they like to say is because it's easier to clean. There's no, there's nothing here where stuff can get into. You can just wipe that off, and then, but around here, stuff can get in there and gunk it up and get all everywhere, and I think that would probably drive me a little nuts. Also, the Blendtec, it has an electronic circuit board, which makes me nervous because I think that's just one more thing that can go wrong. That does make knobs and a dial really appealing to me, but it's also really cool because it has a counter of how many times it's ever been used, and then on the program cycles it tells you like how many seconds are left in the program, or in that cycle. So I do kind of like that. Oh, showing the Vitamix blades. I don't think I did that yet. Okay, I cleaned this by hand, and it was kind of a nightmare. Vitamix has very sharp blades. It's not a dull blade system like the Blendtec. With Blendtec, they say they're already dull, but they still pulverize everything completely because of their speed. The Vitamix has sharp blades in their wet container. This is the wet container here. And you can see it has a much narrower little base in here, and because there's 4 blades, I had a really difficult and nerve-wracking time trying to get a sponge down in there to clean those, because I was very afraid I was going to cut myself, and I could not really do it thoroughly like I could do with the Blendtec. Now normally if I'm making a smoothie or a soup, then yes, I will put in warm water and a little bit of dish soap and turn it on for however many seconds they say, and it self-cleans itself. And that's great. But if I'm making like peanut butter, I've heard that it's a nightmare to clean out peanut butter from a friend who has a Vitamix, and I believe her just after even trying to clean this, even though it didn't even have anything in it. I just wanted to make sure it was extra clean right before I used it the first time. This just looks like it would be easier to clean nut butter out of. So that's the physical description of both of these. And then I would like to do some comparisons in making some different things and share my experience on those later.